Any unspoken requests that we want to pray about, not mentioned out loud? All right, let's go in prayer. Marlon, will you lead some shingles? Okay. Okay. Anybody else? See the one in the military that was moving to San Antonio? Okay. Okay. All right. Marlon, will you lead us? Amen. All right, let's get right into the lesson. We may have a short lesson. I don't know how long this goes. When I read Ecclesiastes, we're in the book of Ecclesiastes, in chapter 5. I think it's about our fourth week in this book. When I read through this, it's not like it is not written like a story. Like you read through, I love reading the book of John or reading through Genesis. And I love the stories part. First Samuel, Second Samuel, reading about David. And this is not about a story. It is Solomon. Most of you heard this over and over again, but Solomon, when he was young, he asked God for wisdom. God gave him wisdom. He wrote the book of Proverbs, and then as he got away from God for a while, for some long period of time, I don't know how long, and then got things right, and he came back, and God used him to write the book of Ecclesiastes, which is a different book. Proverbs is a young father writing to his children and saying, "My son, do this, follow God, and follow these steps, and you'll be happy." But he didn't follow those steps himself. He departed from the wisdom and made mistakes, and he came back, and he's writing this now as an older man. I'm going to say he's in his 60s, which that doesn't seem real old now, but I'd say he's probably in his 60s, and he's writing this book, and he's writing this, and he's saying, this is things that I've observed, okay? And to me, it's a great book just to read the thing over and over and over again. But once I start reading, and that's why last week we weren't here, but last 3 weeks when we read through the Ecclesiastes, it's not like I can read 3 verses in a chapter and say, this is what we'll teach on the whole thing. I mean, we could do that if whatsoever the hand findeth to do it with a might. And I can read a verse like that and just preach a message from that one verse. But when I read this, and I look at one chapter, then I look across the page and I see something else, and look back to the next chapter before that, and it kind of bounces back and forth. So tonight we're going to look in chapter 5 and chapter 6 and chapter 7. We're not going to read the whole thing. But I want to look for something that is missing in a lot of people's life. Okay, here we go. Here's a key word. Okay, we're going to read in chapter 5 in just a minute. We're not going to get there just yet. There's some people that seem to have something that other people don't have. There's some people that I've used this. The last verse in Luke chapter 2 says this, and talk about Jesus. He increased in wisdom and stature and favor with God and man. So that's wisdom is mentally, stature is physically, favor with God is spiritually, and favor with man is socially. And it's a balance. And there's some things there's some people that have this balance to them that is like everything's okay, mentally, physically, socially, spiritually. It just kind of rolls, okay? There's some people that are mental geniuses, but they can't get along with anybody, okay? So mentally they're smart. Socially, they can't stand people. They can't get along with anybody, okay? Where you pointing at somebody, you're just nodding your head. Okay, so you're just thinking of somebody, and you're okay, without mentioning it, calling them by name, okay? There are other people that are athletically talented. From there's people, when we were on vacation a couple weeks ago, Tam and I would take these like 3 hour walks early in the morning, and there's a guy that I'd say he's probably in his 80s, down there doing sit-ups, doing crunches on the beach. Okay, and this is 6:30 in the morning. He's down there doing because I'd say he's the way he's doing it. He's done this all his life, the same exercise routines all his life. He probably is a young man, very athletic, and now he's in his 80s, I guess, at that age. Maybe just the sun makes him look like he's in the 80s. He could be in the 70s, I don't know. But he's down there doing his sit-ups, doing his crunches. And I thought, I wonder what he was like when he was young. Okay, there's people that I know but there's a kid I knew, one of the most athletically talented, gifted kids, just automatic. Everything was easy to him. Okay, couldn't do math. Okay, so his wheel was like if his bicycle was going thump, thump, thump because it was out of alignment. Okay, there's another thing of balance. Some people have this balance and some people don't. But there's another balance that has to go with working and being lazy. Okay, Rebecca had one request right before her wedding, about a week before her wedding. They were working on stuff, and she said, "I have one request for you." Remember what it was, Becca? I said, "What's the one request, Becca?" And she said, "You don't work on my wedding day." Really? And he's talking about not go to Lee Graphics and work. She said, "Not work on anything. Just don't work." What do you want me to do? I mean, we got to set up chairs out in the yard. You know, I mean, we set up tables and chairs. She said, "I just don't want you working on this." Right? You remember that? She just don't want me working on that day. Right. So it made me think when she said that, I said, "Man, do I work too much?" Okay. I mean, I enjoy work. I mean, I enjoy working in the garden, putting up fence, working on my job, going on visitation. To me, really, that's all work. But to me, it's just this is life. I'm enjoying life. I'm just, some people say reading your Bible is work. I enjoy doing it. You know, I mean, it's not really okay. Anyway, Proverbs talks about a lazy man or sluggard or slothful person. He says he makes excuses. He says, "There's a lion in the streets. I'll be slain in the streets. There's a lion in the way." So he makes excuses for not working. And about another verse of Proverbs says his hands refuse to labor. Therefore, he's always wanting something, but he doesn't have anything. He desires things and can't get it because he's too lazy to work. Then there's other people that are covetous people, okay, that can't get enough of stuff. And it's not really about work. It's just about accumulating stuff. We're going to look at some of that tonight. And there's a balance. There's got to be a balance between working because we're supposed to work and God's given us a work to do, and just saying I want to ignore everything else in life just so I can work hard, make more money, and accumulate stuff. Okay, because the stuff doesn't matter. The dust that sits on my things mocks me, as one of the songs says. It kind of makes fun of me. It laughs at me because it's just sitting there with the stuff I bought. It's just sitting there rusting away or dust piling up on it, and it makes fun of me. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 5. I said all that to get to the verses. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, look at that verse 10, or verse 9 maybe. "Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field." That means everybody gains when someone benefits or someone does well. "He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase." It doesn't satisfy him. This is also vanity, it's emptiness. Okay? When the goods are increased, they are increased that eat them, and what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? Stop reading right there. Okay? What good does it do to have stuff if you don't enjoy the stuff? Okay? I made mention of this before. A guy that I know had like 200 guns in his basement. Never used them. Didn't clean them. He's had them. He liked to buy them. Okay? And his son-in-law, who's a good friend of mine, said they're just rusting in his basement. He doesn't take care of them. He just likes the idea, I bought this and got a good deal on this. But what good's a good deal? Okay? If it's just sitting there in the okay. So there has to be a balance between not being lazy and not just getting stuff to get stuff. One of our presidential candidates has announced their candidacy for the 2020 election. A couple of them have signed on to this, but one of them came up with the idea, I guess, that every person in the United States should be given a living wage, whether they work or not. How do you think that's a good idea? You know what they call that? Communism, right? Is that not communism or socialism? It's not the same thing, okay? That everybody should be given an X amount of money, no matter how much you work or how many would go to work if you were to get the same amount of money if you stayed home, right? Marlon, let's say your pay, I just going to throw out a round number. Let's say your pay was $20,000 a year for working. If the government was going to give you $20,000 a year, and I'm not talking about retirement, Social Security, or your retirement benefits, that has nothing to do with something like that. But when you were a young man, you were paid X amount for going on a job, and you would get paid the same amount if you didn't go. Would you go to the job? No, nobody would, right? What would you have then? It's called Cuba, where when the reporters finally got into Cuba a couple of years ago, one guy said, the government pretends to pay us, which they don't, and we pretend to work, which we don't. So it's kind of it kind of balances out. We don't do anything, we don't make anything, we don't build anything, and they kind of barely feed us, right? Okay. But what good does it do just to get stuff, just to have stuff? Okay. There are houses. I'm trying to think if there's any houses for sale in our holler. Because any houses for sale, there's not any houses for sale in our holler, is it? Mr. Joe, there's not any houses for sale in our holler, is it? Not currently. Okay. Two not lived in. Okay. We drove through an area, picking up people just a few minutes ago, that has a fourth of the houses for sale. Nice houses. Okay. Well, Brother John, you saying something bad about the people who live there? No, I'm not saying anything bad about the people who live there, but does the house satisfy? Having a house satisfy? Would the people be moving? I mean, maybe someone's passed away and the kids are selling the house or whatever, but you drive through an area and all the houses are for sale. Okay. And nice houses. That means that people are going to be happy I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied if I get this. But then that satisfaction doesn't come because you just get something to look at, right? And you get a really, really big house, you know what you got to do? Clean it, right? Or not. Okay. Scripture says, New Testament, love of money is the root of all evil. I mean, it doesn't satisfy just to get stuff. Look down at verse 12. We're still in chapter 5. The sleep of the laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. So there's got to be a balance. Okay? I just use Marlon as an example. Marlon, you labored physical labor all your life, right? Yeah, you slept good at nighttime, though, didn't you? Well, unless you worked night shift. But when you work hard, you sleep good, right? Charlie, in the summertime, I don't know how to say it the right way. In the summertime, you have more time. And the school year, you're working more. You probably sleep better during the school year than you do at night in the summertime. Yeah, I would think, right? I don't know. Okay, on days that I work, okay, unless leg cramps hit me in the middle of the night, I sleep really good. Okay, if I have nothing to do during the day, and think about people that don't do anything that have never worked and don't want to work. Okay, labor man sleeps well, but a lot of people that have stuff. Okay, I know somebody. I know a person that did this, and I'm trying to think. I don't remember anyone ever saying that they worked, but their spouse worked. They made a good living. The spouse passed away. They had lots of money, and they sat on their bed and counted out cash every single day. Up into the 70s and 80s, they wanted to count their money. They knew what was in the bank. They had they knew they had their checking account, savings account, retirement account stuff, but they sat in their room and they counted out their money every single day. Okay, why? Just to make sure it was still there. A couple of years ago, I went to visit Tammy. I went to visit Hardin and Becky. They were still out here, and Hardin, he had money. He was laying all over the floor. He didn't care. I mean, I tried to count it. He said, John, I tried to count it. And his hands were kind of gnarled, you know. He said, trying to see how much I had. He was trying to give it away. You know, it's really what he wanted to do. Is he just wanted to you take it. I'm hard to know what your money, but I'll help you pick it up off the floor. It was on the floor. You know, really, he didn't lose any sleep over. Okay, let's go on. So there's got to be some kind of a balance. So what do you do? What's the balance? Okay, let's look down at Behold, verse 18, behold, that which I have seen is good and comely for one to eat and to drink and enjoy the good of all his labor that he taketh under the sun all the days of his life, which God hath given him, for this is his portion. Look his way. I think everybody ought to enjoy. I mean, I preached on this Sunday night, maybe. I think everybody ought to enjoy working and the fruits of their labor. Okay? You know, I think tastes the best food I've ever eaten in my life. This stuff comes directly out of our garden. Okay? I like, Tam and I went out to a nice restaurant last week. We were on vacation. We went with the kids on another nice restaurant. I like going to the restaurant. Once in a while, we'll spend a lot of money in the restaurant. A nice meal, you know, not the Taco Bell drive-through thing. But once in a while, we'll eat a nice restaurant. I enjoyed eating real nice seafood maybe once or twice a year. You know, good stuff. And I don't mind paying for it when I because I've worked hard for my money, right? But you know, I really like. Rebecca fixed deer meat last night. I don't know if it's the one Jerry got or the one I got. One of them. Okay. I like the ones we drug home. Okay. I like tomatoes out of our garden. I like the beans out of our garden. Rebecca likes picking beans in our garden. I'm lying there. She doesn't like picking beans. She likes stringing them. She'll string them. She doesn't like picking them. Okay. And God said it's a gift. Last verse 18. Read the verse again. Behold, that which I've seen is a good and comely. That means a good thing. For one to eat and to drink and enjoy the good of all his labor that he taketh under the sun, all the days of his life, which God hath given him, for this is his portion. Every man also to whom God hath given riches and wealth, and hath given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor, this is a gift of God. I mean, to look back at your life and say, that's where I worked, and that's what I did. It's not just when I was roofing houses with Danny. One time we were driving away from the job. He said he joked about this a lot. He said, "You know, when the house looks best." And I said, "What?" He said, "When the day's over, you're driving away from it. You know, when you're wore out because you carry jingles up the ladder all day, and you're driving away from it and say, man, I'm glad they got that job done." Okay, but you look back at it and say, "I'm glad we did that. I'm glad." And it's not just the job that you get paid for. It is okay. Those of you who have raised your children or are currently raising your children, you can look at the job of raising the children and say, I enjoy, this is my job, or whatever it is. I enjoy. Charlie, you enjoy raising your kids? Surely. Rebecca, you enjoy raising Josiah went out on visitation with me last night. Well, we were going to go see somebody about a horse, but I thought, well, I'm going to make a soul winning visit out of this when you get to. But it was just the idea of going, okay, and doing. And the idea of, this is my job, my full-time job, or part-time job, one of the 5 jobs that I have, is to help raise Josiah. Okay? I enjoy it. Okay, let's go on. God says it's a gift. It's a gift to look back and say, I got to do this. I had this is the last part of verse 19. Rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God, for he shall not much remember the days of his life. He's not going to remember the work part of it, because God answereth in the joy that is in his heart. So if you could focus on the joy that comes in, and Vicki says, but you don't know the guys I work with. Larry, Moe, and Curly, where'd they get them from? Okay? Little rascals or whoever they are, you know, where'd they get these guys? They passed the test to get the job to work with Vicki because, this one's breathing. He can work there. Okay? And you think, she said, you don't know much on what these people are like, but eventually you look at it and think, oh, well, it's an incident that happened at work, or it's a problem that we handle problems at work every day. It's just what life is, okay? And we had one of my captain, or my team leaders at work one time when I worked in the steel plant. We worked together side by side every day. He said he had this saying that he loved to do this because when someone would come and say, "Can you?" he'd say, "The difficult we do every day, the impossible just takes a little longer." Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so when my customers say, "Can you?" before they or "Do you?" my answer is always yes. Okay, we'll figure out a way to get it done. Someone called me one day, a friend of mine, he's a customer. He said, "Can you get me pistachios?" I said, "Sure, how many you need?" He said, 600 pounds. Really? This is like on Tuesday or something, like one week. It was near Christmas time, several years ago. He said, "Can you get me 600 pounds of pistachio?" I said, "When do you need it?" He said, "Thursday." Yeah, I'll do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm telling you, yeah, his name's Nathan. I said, I'll do it. I don't know how I'm going to get him. I'll get him. I used to work, when I was a teenager, worked at Big Star, worked at a produce department called Corey Brothers. Sure, we'll have them to you tomorrow, 600 pounds. Yeah, I delivered them, okay? Profitable. But it's just the idea of saying, okay, there's got to be some kind of a joy in what you do, okay? Kathy says, I'm retired now. My joy is staying home, right? But when you help somebody with their insurance, did you like it, right? Or someone came back into the claim and they're nervous because I don't know if it's going to cover it and I'm going to lose everything we have because of a stupid accident or whatever. But you look back and say, I helped that family. I enjoy it. I'm glad I did what we did. I'm glad I mentioned to them about getting this kind of flood insurance. I told them about this thing. And you look back and say, I'm glad I did or had the opportunity to do this. Okay? There's joy in it. There ought to be a balance to it. And the rejoicing is labor. It's a gift of God. Now, to remember the labor, you won't remember the hard part of it eventually. Chapter 6, and we'll look at the first 3 verses. There's an evil which I've seen under the sun that is common among men, a man to whom God giveth riches and wealth and honor, because we just looked at this part of it, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul of all that he desireth. Yet God giveth him not the power to eat thereof, but a stranger eateth it. This is vanity and an evil disease. Now, I don't know if someone's talking about someone who works real hard all his life and then can't enjoy it because he's gotten sick. It's emptiness, and I don't know if it's something or someone that has had something taken from him, but he said, I've worked for all this and I can't enjoy it. Okay, either from sickness or from someone taking what he had. I had to get my oil changed at Tammy's truck yesterday morning. Not Tom Peden, South Charleston, Johan Chevrolet. Yeah, okay. I've learned from experience when you go in and get your oil changed down there. It's way about the truck. You got 2 hours to do something. So I took a book with me to work on stuff, and I worked first hour working on stuff, and then I said, well, I'm going to look at new trucks and used trucks. So I walked across there from the service department, walked around the corner to the used truck lot, and there's a 2018 Chevy 2500 HD diesel, only 4,000 miles on it. That's it. Sales would come out, salesmen, they're like vultures. They start circling, And so I'm just kidding about that. I'm a salesman, I shouldn't say that. So salesman came over, we're talking a little bit. I said, who would trade in a truck with only 4,000 miles on it? And he said, I know the story on this. He said, I know the entire story on this. The guy worked here. He was in the service for so many years, in the Marines for so many years, and he's worked here for the last 13 years. And he bought this truck and a camper, and he's going to spend some time traveling, and he got sick. And he had seizures, and he didn't get to, so he's only put 4,000 miles on this truck in the last year, and because of his seizures, he would not be able to drive for, medically speaking, he's not allowed to drive for the next 2 years because of his seizures. And I knew where I was going with tonight's lesson. I think, man, it'd be terrible to have everything, to be able to buy everything you want and anything, or work hard for something and then get it and you can't enjoy it, right? And be sick and can't enjoy it. And I thought, that's that guy, okay? And Psalm says it's an evil disease. They look at somebody and say, well, they worked hard for it, but they can't enjoy what they got, okay? All right, let's go on. Let's read a couple more verses. If a man beget 100 children, chapter 6, verse 3. If a man beget 100 children and live many years, so that the days of his years be many, this is the key in that verse, and his soul be not filled with good, that means if you have all the stuff you want in the world, all the kids you want, grandkids you want, you have everything available to you, happy life, good life, but your soul is not filled with good, you're missing out, okay? And also they have no burial. That means no one really cares where he lives or dies. I say that an untimely birth is better than he is. It'd be better off for a baby to die in the womb. A person to die in the womb than to work all your life, to have stuff, to have children, to have a multitude of kids and grandkids, and look at life and say, I can't be happy. Okay? Why can't you be happy? Why? Let me ask you a question then. I'm not talking about happy because I use the word happiness, but happiness usually is determined by outward circumstances coming this direction. Do you have good in your soul? Do you have joy in your heart? Do you have that? I guess that's the biggest question. That's the balance part. That's what balances between being lazy and workaholic. Okay, that's the balance between having stuff just to have stuff or having stuff to enjoy and let everyone else enjoy it too. Okay, his soul be not filled with good. If you're that person, do you have joy? Is there something inside of you? Is there like a fire burning inside of you? Has some kind of joy? Okay, Brother John, you can't be that way all the time. Why not? Okay, it's just not my personality. Eeyore, go, oh bother. Okay, right? There's people that are that way. There was a person that we knew years ago. I'll back up and say 15 years ago. About that time. Yeah, about 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago. And when Rebecca wanted to make a decision about something, she'd come to me and tell me, we're going to go this way or this way. And I would always use the same person for the illustration. I don't think I've ever told anybody in this room who this is except maybe Rebecca knows exactly who it is. And I say, Rebecca, at your age, Marie would have gone this way, and that person would have gone this way. Which one do you want? You know why I said it that way? Because Marie's always had joy, right? You're discussing whether you've had joy or not? Okay. Well, maybe I was mistaken about that as a bad illustration. But I always thought Marie had joy. Okay? Right, she did. Of course, it's because she was married to David was the reason for it. But some people in the church want to forget their homes, right? But you choose what you do with what life has given you, okay? You look at life and saying, the life that I have is a gift from God. I'm going to enjoy it, okay? Or I'm not. I'm going to have good in my heart towards other people, or I'm not. I'm going to be bitter as wormwood, or I'm not. Choice. Okay? Any questions on this stuff? Let me ask you, got joy? Yeah, you may have questions on it. What do you think I've said so far? Anyone think I'm off my rock when I talk about this stuff? Okay? Okay. Talk about it now. Their Christianity. I can't go out and drink like I used to. Okay, and they think their Christianity. They think of their Christianity in that way. And other people who've been taught this, whether they really believe it or not, I've known some people that I think are lost that have more joy than a lot of Christians do because there's something in this balance thing that they get. Okay, and it's not just about going to heaven and saying, "I want." Okay, my life is okay. Some of our founding fathers, Charlie can correct me on this, most of our founding fathers were Christians, right? A lot of them were devoted Christians. Some of them were deists, which means they believe there's a God out there somewhere, but they're not sure whether they really believe exactly what they believe. They just believe that there is a greater being, a higher being out there, but they're not sure that they can know him. There's people called deists. And of course, there's atheists like Thomas Paine, who wasn't. But when at one point he said, have him pray. Thomas Paine at one point said, have him ask, because he's not going to say that he's a Christian, but he said that guy prays about stuff and gets his prayers answered. Ask him to pray, and we'll find out what happens. Or, I'm going to trust what he says because of what he believes. Okay, so there's some people that do have that. But I guess the whole part of this is that the things in life, the things that we've read about so far, because we've read about people that have enjoyed life, and some people that don't enjoy life. Some people build abundance of wealth, and some people don't build abundance of wealth. But the things don't make you happy. Things don't satisfy, but joy does satisfy. Joy on the inside. Well, how you get that joy? Okay, we taught all the kids back in junior year this for 20 years. Joy, spelled joy, J-O-Y. If you do an acronym or whatever someone call you, put the letter down. J, Jesus, O, others, and then Y, you. Jesus first, others, then you. Put yourself last, you'll get everything you want. Okay? Put Jesus first. Well, ask God what He wants. And seek the will, seek what everyone else wants, make everybody happy, try to make people happy. You can't make people really make people happy, but you can, if you find a need, you can fill it. You can see somebody wants something, go get it, whatever. Then you have a servant's heart by doing that. Then you'll make yourself happy. You can have that joy. It's available to you. Any questions on that part? Okay, about Jesus, others, and you. Okay, go. Okay. Chapter 6, verse 9. Better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of the desires. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. It's better to have something and enjoy what you have than always to wonder if I wanted something else. Would I have been happy if I'd have done something else? Okay, you know somebody like that. Okay, you know most divorces come from that because if a man says, "I wonder what it'd be like to marry that woman," or a woman says, "I wonder what it'd be like if I had married this guy. My husband's a bum. What's up with that guy? You know, that guy's successful." But a lot of divorces come from that. It's better to look at life and say, "I like what I have," than wish I had something else. Y'all with me on that? Okay. I mentioned walking. I'm just happy to get my truck fixed. Okay. I think rather than looking at something and saying I'm only going to be happy if I get that thing. Tammy told me last night. She said, "Go trade my truck in on it." Okay. But that truck's not going to make me happy. It's going to give me a bigger payment. Okay. I don't need a bigger payment, right, Charlie? I can be happy with the one payment I got. But looking at something else, say that one's going to make me happy. When really, in reality, my 04 Chevy 2500 really makes me happy. I like the thing. Okay, air conditioner doesn't work. The windows don't go down on that side. It leaks. If the EPA stopped me somewhere, they'd be really upset with all the stuff that leaks off of it. I mean, you know, oil, antifreeze, and everybody else. But really, humility is like seeing everybody the same. Okay, it doesn't matter if they're the janitor of the company or the president of the company. Okay, it doesn't matter if they make $10 an hour or they make $100 an hour. And I know people at all points in between and above that. Okay. It doesn't matter if they live in a $1,000 home or $1 million home. And we know people that live in all those things. And we know people that work on the car every day just to get to work, and so they get to work the next day. We know other people they've given millions of dollars away. Okay, where's the balance? Right estimation, sober-minded, is to see things evenly, how God sees them. Okay, I am who I am because God made me the way I am. Okay. I want what I have more than wanting something I don't have. Does that make sense? I want the life that I have. Okay. On vacation last week, I may have mentioned this Sunday. On vacation last week, and there's some people that are there's some people that buy the vacation package thing that we own, that we bought. They hate it. There's commercials on the radio saying sell your timeshares. I love ours. Okay. We use it every year. We use it in a good way. We use it to make that. The only reason we bought it 15 years ago was so that make sure I take at least a 1 week vacation every year because I like working and I like going on trips and stuff. But so anyway, just to make sure I take a vacation. So the rest of our vacation time that we have, we give to people. Okay, we'll sell it. We don't give it. Sell it. You don't sell it. You can sell that to people. I don't want to sell it. I want to give the gift to somebody. Okay, we give the last I don't know how many years. We always. You can get 1 week out of this. We got up to 5 weeks out of it. We're planning scheduling it right and giving it away to people. Okay, there's a couple in our church. They don't come here now. Thanksgiving week, so years ago, like 18 years ago, he was not looking forward to Thanksgiving because he didn't want to be around his family because the fights always break out and things don't go well. Right, Becky, you know which family I'm talking about. And he said, "Man, I just want to go somewhere for Thanksgiving just to get away." I went to like hunting Monday morning or whether and take the rest of the week off and go somewhere. I said, "Let me make a phone call." Okay, what do you want to do? I said, "You want to go to Pigeon Forge?" I talked to him a few minutes later. I mean, I had to make a call just to make sure something's available. So go to Pigeon Forge. How would you like to be down in the shopping capital of the Southeast on Black Friday and your kids wait for the stores to open Friday morning at midnight, so they go. He says he stayed in the line for 2 hours outside the door. Told me later when he got back. But he loved it, and who enjoyed it most? Me, knowing what I gave him. Okay, it was a gift. There was to me, is a priceless gift because he ain't paid me anything for it. I didn't ask anything for it. But him staying outside drinking coffee with another friend of ours, and then the doors swing open at midnight at some store, and he walks in and he said, "What am I supposed to do?" And his daughter says, "Just grab stuff. That's just grab. It doesn't matter what it is. Dad, just buy it. It's on sale." Okay, him telling me the story was him coming back in with the joy of knowing that he didn't have to go to the wrestling match Thanksgiving Day at the family house, and whatever was going to happen at that day, and got to go to him come back and tell me that story was better than any payment that I could get. He wrote me a check for $500 for the room or whatever it was, or whatever it cost. If he'd have wrote me a check for that, wouldn't have been as much fun as listening to him tell the story of what happened that night at midnight on Thanksgiving night. Okay, but John, this doesn't make sense. It's the evenness. And seeing people even, see people in the right way. Seeing people the way you want to. That's golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated, right? That's the biggest part of it. It's because you're not looking down on that guy, and you're not looking up at that guy. We're all the same, right? Let's say that one. Repeat off that one. Okay. Chapter 7. We're going into chapter 7. Once we won't read all this, but I'm going to start just a little bit. A good name, chapter 7, verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death rather than the day of one's birth. It's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. I mean, it's better off to realize that all the material thing comes to an end. Okay? And if you try to spend your life trying to make yourself happy, it ain't gonna happen. But if you look at life with this perspective, it's not about me being happy. It's about me doing what I'm supposed to do and having happiness doing it. Finding joy in doing what I'm supposed to be doing. The rest of the verses talk about mirth, the people seeking after mirth, trying to do anything they can to make himself happy. And Solomon knows because he had the monkeys and the peacocks and all that stuff and tried to make himself happy. And the choir singing in his living room or whatever in his hall, and he tried to make himself happy. It didn't work. He said, "Give up on trying to make yourself happy, and go find somebody else to make him happy." Okay. I was at Cunningham's funeral home yesterday. Okay. Most of the time we go down there, it's bad. I go in there for work too. That Mark asked me to come in there and sell him stuff, and I go in there for work. And when I walk in there, I instantly think the last one was in there was Pawpaw, right? So I instantly think of the last time I was there and all the other times we've been there, okay? But it makes me joyful knowing of the great life that almost everybody that we've gone down there for their funeral, done their funeral or been there for their funeral, almost everyone in there has had a tremendous life. And I can walk through there. And you go back in the back, and Rusty's back here laughing and stuff, and he's cutting up with stuff, and they're working, okay, but they're having fun on their job, and it's not when they have customers in. It's not a joyful time when they have customers in there. But looking at life and saying, okay, I can get the big picture of life, okay. It's not about just me putting in the Three Stooges movie to make myself happy. That Mary Hart do is good like a medicine. When I'm sick, I watch comedy shows. Okay, I do. When I'm sick, I get over it quickly by waking. Right, Becca? We watch the Little Rascals or Beverly Hillbillies or Three Stooges stuff. So if you're sick, you want to get over the flu quickly. Okay, it helps. Okay. Any questions on anything I taught? How many think I'm a nut by saying all this stuff I said tonight? Anybody? But besides Becca. Okay. How many agree with this? Okay, wholeheartedly. Man, it's a great life. God's given us a tremendous life. Take advantage of it. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for loving us. Thank you for dying on the cross for us. Thank you for the promise of heaven. We know where we're going when we die. And we realize the greatest joy in life is not just in knowing where we're going, but knowing that you're guiding us. Your hand's upon us. You've blessed us. You've blessed our church family. You've blessed our families. You've given us good health. We have family. We have church family that's at the hospital tonight right now with loved ones. We have church family in the hospital with tubes running in and out of them. I pray that you'll bless those and help them realize. I think they realize what you've done already for them. You've blessed them tremendously already, and they know it. They give you praise for it. I pray you'll spend their life praising you. I pray if there's one here tonight that doesn't know you, whether in our class or in the classes in the back or upstairs, if there's one person that doesn't know you as their Savior, I pray they'll trust tonight before we leave this building. Thank you, Jesus, for giving your life for us. Help us take advantage of all you've done for us. In your name we ask, amen. Thank you. Be dismissed. I think everyone else is out in the hallway. You're dismissed. We won't sing. We won't try to sing a new song again. But be ready for Sunday morning. I'll call you up here and we'll sing that song we practiced a while ago. Right, Kathy? Don't stay home just because I'm going to have you sing. All right. You're dismissed. Thanks for coming out tonight.